History of Abigail Adams Michaels, the writer of the story Where Ghosts Never Die in the Blazing Sky of 1950. Abigail Adams Michaels. My name is Abigail Adams, a student of Charlotte Meck Schools. My mother, Pearlie Mae Morrow Adams, born 1924 in Mecklenburg County. Her parents were Gertrude Irvin Alexander Willoughby. We called her Mama Gert. And her father was Jack Morrow of Pineville, North Carolina. Jack Morrow, born 1905, dead at 45 years old, December 1950. And that is the story I write, Where Ghosts Never Die, the Blazing Skies of 1950. Jack Morrow's family went to Chiney Berry Church, Old Pineville Road, in the South Boulevard area. Pearlie Mae Morrow worked at shell plant in World War II. Pearlie Mae Morrow, who married James Adams, worked for 13 years for Charlotte Meck Schools. She was a cook in the Pineville School for White Kids. Her supervisor was Mrs. Boatwright. Her co-worker was Mrs. Crump, and her landlord then was Mr. Yandle. She worked for many families, Dr. Hand and several other families in Pineville. Her next job was the Pepsi-Cola plant on South Boulevard, where she met another lady named Mrs. Morrow, but she was a white woman. And she worked at several cafes until she owned her next cafe. But the first cafe she owned, she and my dad, was 1947. She and my dad, Sergeant James Hicks Adams, U.S. Military, Army, operated a cafe in Pineville. Blacks went in the back door. A beer salesman was bondsman Orrin Alexander. That was when beer was 25 cents a can. 1958, my dad built his first house on Myrtle Avenue off of Packard Street in Pineville, where I walked to school. I began my first grade in 1955 at Sterling Elementary School. That was a school from 1 through 12. Our principal was Mr. Poe, P-O-E. And in grade 3 was 1958. I walked to school. That's when my dad had built the house. Abigail Adams Michaels. My story began in Mecklenburg County, and this is the story I tell. When I was in South Carolina, I used to be writing on mysteries, and I wondered why I was so excited about writing mysteries, because I had promised my papa in 1950, when I was a baby, only 1 year and 6 months old, that I was going to write his story. And then I wrote a story about a mystery in South Carolina, and I named the poem Poetry Museum of Mysteries. The poem goes, how great that words make you think of us and wonder what happened to us and why. How great that words make you remember our stories, and yet the journey of all of our travels have brought us from someplace to here. Just poems in a gallery standing for all to see. We are but a poetry museum of our stories, and yet our whispers are low and faint, but you can hear and see our ghosts. You know we once were here. In the halls of the world we gather with something in common, but you say you don't know our names, our stories. But a poem we are on the walls of many minds. How great that words make you think of us. So the story Where Ghosts Never Die, that story is based on a true story. Everything in that story is not true. Like the part where I say my mom dug her dad's little kid's coffin up and took it to another